And good afternoon. Welcome to the Youth Sports Complex. It is the blue white fun meet tonight here in high school gymnastics on the Highliner Activity Network. Paul McDonald alongside Olivia Olson. Olivia, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. We're going to have the anthem here. We've got the athletes have done their walk-in, and we're going to have the anthem, and then we'll tell you what's going on with this fun meet in the format here tonight. But before we get to that, we're going to have our national anthem before tonight's meet. And again, this is, now, I guess one thing I will ask, this still will count with the numbers, won't they?
Yes, all of their individual scores and their team scores will count towards their rankings.
Because I know this will be our third meet then for the Highliners, and you need at least 3 to get ranked. So this will be our third.
Yep.
So then we'll be officially ranked. And, of course, we'll talk about the rankings. Dickinson, number 1, Jamestown, 2. And if you look at our 2 meets, we would be number 3. So depending on what happens tonight, we'd probably still be in that number 3 spot because we'd have to drop really way down to drop down to number 4. So we are going to have they're introducing the judges here tonight. And then we will have the anthem and get started. Is the blue and white meet tonight here on the Highliner Activity Network. We'll be back with more Highliner Gymnastics on the Highliner Activity Network.
There's no concession stands here today. Dairy Queen's across the street if you're hungry. Bathrooms are just right by the bleachers here underneath on the main floor. At the conclusion of the meet, the top 10 in each event will be recognized. We are live streaming this event today. If you want to go to our Highliners webpage and click on the live link button, information will be there. And at the conclusion, this will be on our YouTube channel as well. Live streaming today is Paul McDonald and Olivia Olson, and Jaden Johnson's on camera. And Jaden Johnson is the son of our superintendent, so if you have any complaints about the event, he's right there behind the camera if you want to tackle him. Today's athletic trainer is Mike Callahan from Center Health. Thanks, Mike, for coming back. And please stand for the national anthem. All right, girls, it's time to do your cheers and then go to your first event. Good luck.
Back on the Highliner Activity Network, it is high school gymnastics, the blue and white meet, Valley City and Jamestown. I guess question number 1, Olivia, what is going to be the format here tonight?
So the teams are split up between Jamestown and Valley. Since Valley only has 5 competing girls, there's 1 girl from Valley on each team, and they're competing against other groups. But at the same time, they're competing individually and as a team.
Okay, so they will still total up their scores, and we'll have the Valley City scores and Jamestown scores that will go towards the rankings.
Yes. They're just a little mixed up.
It's mixed. That's why it's called the mixed up teams, and this is a fun meet, isn't it?
Yes, we've been doing it for I don't even know how long, but it's always so much fun. You get to know like the girls from Jamestown really well, and it's so much fun.
Well, of course, we're coming off of Friday night's meet that had Dickinson here in Jamestown and Valley City, and you were judging that night. But so now I'll ask you the same question we talked about. You saw 3 of the top teams, if not the top 3 teams in the state. How fun was that just to have that, not only to have that, but your second meet of the year?
It was really exciting. we've been having this meet for a really long time where a lot of those West teams come here, so we get to see how everyone else at the state is looking, and it's so fun seeing them so early in the season, especially because all three of those teams, Jamestown, Valley, and Dickinson, are all looking really clean so far. And it's going to be really impressive to see where they end up at the end of the season.
Well, and talk about Dickinson. Amy Fridley, defending state champ, only competed in 2 events, and they still come up with a 147. There's some depth in that team when you can have that.
Yeah, Dickinson has built a really, really impressive program. Like, Amy Fridley, absolute powerhouse, but they have some really young 7th graders that they're going to be some big names pretty soon.
Elizabeth Karski is the one that comes to mind that everybody will keep an eye on. Now here with the Highliners, of course, the routine that they'll have out there today, Jada Nelson, Karina Olson, Grace Undum, Zoe Bierke, and Abby Thornton for Valley City. And the Jamestown Blue Jays, they have their normal allotment with Sydney Fisher and Blair Arbuckle, Jasmine Hullman, Lucy Falk, Haley Nelson, who everybody knows she finished, I want to say, 2nd or 3rd at state last year behind Amy Fridley, and it was just a few points ahead of Abby, whichever, I think she finished ahead of Abby, but not by very much at the state meet last year.
Yeah, it was a close one.
It was less than a point or two. And Sue Van Gilder, along with Maddie Gaschetti, Anna Romick, Emma Hillerud, Elisa Larson, McKenna Pettis, Aubrey Kropp, and Brenna Hatch. Those are the gymnasts for Jamestown. And now, of course, is this going to be the Olympic rotation? Do we know what kind of rotation they're going to have tonight?
I don't think it. I think it's our normal rotation.
Okay.
So whoever starts on vault will go to bars, beam, floor.
Okay, because usually the Olympic rotation, the home team starts on the vault because they finish on the floor.
Yeah, but since we're all mixed up, it's kind of just whoever starts
wherever it is.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Well, we will keep an eye on the Highliners, and you had mentioned there's a possibility we may have 2 Highliners competing at the same time on individuals. Now, we've got younger girls out here. I think the competitive team's going to do a little exhibition.
Yes, I just heard about this a little bit ago. There's a few of the little girls that are going to be doing some of their routines today, which I'm very excited about because these girls have been working so hard the last couple of years with COVID and everything, not being able to compete. They're so excited.
And that's how you build these gymnastics teams, is this like our Twisters program. I think we have counting high school, all the kids that we have, 107 or something like that. So, I mean, getting those kind of numbers really help your gymnastics program, doesn't it?
Yeah, yep. Numbers are what build programs, but also having like good coaching and showing people that we are building a good program and these girls are learning skills really helps, which Johnny has done a really good job at.
And just taking a look at right now, we have some young ladies, and of course, I'll be honest, I don't have the names of the non-varsity girls that are competing, so I apologize for that. But looking over at the floor exercise right now, the Highliners have Karina Olson is out there getting ready. She was one of the Highliners. Over on the vault is Zoe Bierke, and she is out there competing. And Jada Nelson is listed tonight, and this will be her first varsity experience, I think, here for the Highliner gymnastics team.
Yes, I believe so. I think she started the season planning on being a manager and then just threw on a Leo and said, let's go.
Let's go. I want to do this and get out there. And I'm going to ask you, do you miss it?
Yes, I do. I miss it so much. I miss just like bouncing around and joking around with the girls. It's definitely been a change.
Well, of course, now you're up at Bemidji State competing in track, and is the indoor season done now, or are you still doing with the indoor season?
Nope, we just started, had our first meet the first weekend in December, and then we start up on January 15th.
And you had your first collegiate vault, and you made it?
Yep, made the first one. Pretty exciting. Made the first one, the second one, and then I was done.
So that's good. Quit while you're ahead, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, we will get, right now they're just doing their touches, I'm guessing, and just kind of getting ready.
Yep, we have Jay Potratz showing off her beam routine here, though.
So right in front of us on the beam, Jay Potratz. And looks like normally you have 2 judges at each event, too, at a normal competition, right?
Yep, usually at bigger meets there's 2 judges per event, but with smaller meets like duels, it's a lot faster to just have 1 judge per event.
So we have Potratz working on the beam. We're just going to watch her routine here right now. Just tell us some of the things at this level, what they're going to try to do.
So these girls are training for a new program off of USAG, which is now called Mega, I believe it's called, which is built exactly like our high school judging is built. So these girls are basically training to compete high school level routines. So they're working on a lot bigger skills that you would normally see in their age range, and their biggest thing is just making them clean.
That was a nice dismount.
That was a really good routine from Jay.
So a good dismount there. Jay Pochat says she was on the beam there for Valley City. And when we start hearing the music, then we'll see who's going to be on the floor exercise. And that's what they always used to call it. No, it's just the floor.
Yep.
But all these used to have two names. It was the uneven bars. It was the balance beam and the floor exercise. Now it's just one. It's the beams, the bar, the floor.
Yep.
And I think it was always vault. I don't know if it had two words or not.
I think it was, like vault apparatus.
Vault apparatus. Of course, I think the men have what's called the pommel horse.
Pommel horse, yeah.
Is their version of the vault, which I know you couldn't pay me enough to attempt anything like that. But we are just going to, again, it's a mix and match here tonight. And again, if you're watching on our Highliner Go Camera channel, and Jaden Johnson is our cameraman and technical director here tonight. And as we have young ladies get on an apparatus or get on an event, we'll be focusing in on them and keep an eye on how they're doing. And again, some of the Jamestown gymnasts, I'm sure you know a lot of those Jamestown gymnasts because they've probably been around the program just as long as you have.
I do know a few of them. I'm starting to get a little rough on names here, though.
That's all right, because we are early on, and right now we have, I think that's one of the Jamestown gymnasts, because now it looks like they are wearing different Leos, so you can tell who's Jamestown and who is Valley City. And I apologize, we don't have a list. We have rosters of who is on the team, but not who will be performing. But you can just stay with us and watch here this evening and this afternoon for this blue and white meet here from the Youth Sports Complex on the Highliner Activity Network. And just looking over at the vault right now, I know that Zoe Bjerke is one of the Highliners on the vault, and Karina Olson is one of the Highliners that will be working here on the floor. And looking over to my left, Grace Undum on the bars, along with Abby Thornton is over there as well. And I'm just looking where Jada is.
Jada's
Nelson.
on beam.
She's on the beam. So Jada will be on the beam when she gets her routine up and going. So when the Highliners are performing, we will get those individuals. Right now, we can go to the vault. That's where Zoe Bjerke is. Would they try upgrades in this meet after the meet on Friday night or not?
I don't think so. Not with not having any practice in between. They'll probably see a lot of the same stuff we saw on Friday.
So Zoe Bjerke now over on the vault for Valley City. And we were knowing this now, the vault is the only event where a judge knows ahead of time what the gymnast is going to do.
Yep, because there actually is a deduction if they are told that they are going to do a certain vault and then they don't actually do it. If they decide mid-runway that they're going to do a different vault, there is a deduction there.
So Zoe Bjerke on the vault right now for Valley City. And there's the wave from the judge, and this will be her, I'm going to say this is her first attempt.
This is her second.
This is her second.
Much better landing on that second one compared to the first.
One step off.
Yep.
And does that start at a 10 and then deduct down, or?
Every vault has a different start value. I think I want to say hers probably starts from 9.4-ish, 9.5-ish.
Yep.
Should have brought my book. I could have told you.
I should have told you. Bring your book. We'll get it next time.
Yes.
You have your book next time. And pardon me. And then you judged on the beam. When you were here on Friday night, you were judging on the beam. And there are some requirements on a beam that a gymnast is supposed to do.
Yep, there's event requirements, and then there's the composition to the routine. It's very similar to floor as well. There's the composition, and then there's bonus. So if they have all of that marked off, then they'll start from a 10.
So we will focus on, if you want to head over to the floor, and on the floor exercise, one of the Jamestown gymnasts. I almost want to say that's Haley, but
I think her name's Alyssa.
That is Alyssa Larson. Alyssa Larson that's on the floor right now for Jamestown.
I believe she was on my team last year, actually.
Okay. How did we do last year?
I think my team won, actually. I was very excited for it, being a senior.
Do they break them up into 4 teams?
Yep, I think so.
Yeah, I think that's a standard meet, too, isn't it?
Yeah.
4 teams is a standard meet.
Yeah. I know the judges prefer to have a bye in between, so when there's the 5 teams, it's actually kind of nice because you get a little bit of a break.
Okay. So Alyssa Larson is on the floor right now for Jamestown. And we talked about this on Friday night. On the floor, a lot of times you're going to see other athletes, if they're watching the floor, because that's a fun event to watch.
Yeah, with music and choreography, it's too much fun.
And when you have teammates that know what the gymnast is going to do, they go through the routine.
Yep, dancing along. That was always like the favorite part. Like the first week of someone learning a new routine is you basically have to learn it with them.
So Alyssa Larson has completed her floor. And again, it's a mixed match. And now we're going to head over to the beam as Grace Undum is going to be on the bars. I'm sorry, Jaden. We'll go to the bars here over to our left. And while Grace Undum is going to be on the bars for Valley City.
I think she might just be doing her touch right now.
Yep.
Yeah, this meet's really hard with bar settings, having to mix them up so much. So just having the two girls on this team would probably be really nice for that.
You look at the bars and if you're a tall gymnast, especially with these, that's very difficult.
It is, and Grace is a taller athlete, but I've even seen girls much taller than her. It's just learning how to change your body shape to adjust.
So Grace Undum just finishing her touch on the beam, or on the bars. This is the blue and white meet here from the Esports Complex on the Highland Activity Network. Valley City and Jamestown, the annual event where the two teams are split. They're kind of mashed together. And you have 5 Highlanders, so there'll be 1 Highlander on each team here tonight, maybe 2 on 1, so they'll have 4 teams.
Yep.
And that's why I believe Abby and Grace Undum, Abby Thornton and Grace Undum will be on one team, and then the other 3 are going to be split amongst the other 3 teams for Valley City. But again, these scores will count when you look at the season standings, because you need to have a minimum of 3 meets in order to be ranked. And right now, this would be meet number 3 for the Highlanders. And on Friday night, a 141 for Valley City, Olivia. 4 points better than they did up in Fargo. They got to be happy with that improvement from the first meet to the second.
Yeah, that's a big jump to make, especially in a 141 this early in the season. That's impressive.
Finishing third behind Jamestown's 144, and Dickinson had a 147. But Karina Olson was the all-around champ, and she had a really good floor. I think that was her strongest event. Is that her strongest event?
Yes, I would say floor is Karina. Last year, I think she went in, at the very end of the season, her and Amy Fridley were fighting for number 1 rank the entire season, and then she caught it right at the end. But, yeah, she's had the same floor routine now for, I think this is her 3rd year competing it, which means it is rock solid.
So now we're going to have 2 Highlanders, I think, going at the same time, because Abby Thornton is on the bars. But I think she's going to do her touch on the bars. So we're going to head over to the floor. And on the floor is going to be Karina Olson. She is going to do her floor routine for Valley City. So I'll head over to the floor with Karina on that. And then Abby's doing her touch on the bars. Then after there's a touch, then there's a competitor. Then come back to Abby's.
I think we might actually have Grace going.
Yep, I think she's going to come on after Abby and have her her competitive routine. They're waiting for the judge. Here we go. Now on the floor with Karina Olson. This is a routine I'm sure you've seen a few times.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure I have this memorized. Beautiful strugs.
So coming up will be her first pass.
Yep. Back 1.5 with a little bit of a step there.
And the judges are looking for a lot of things here with the tumbling, the dance, and how about expression, smiling and enjoying it?
Yes, that is one of the biggest things. If you look miserable during your routines, the judges are going to take on that, and it's just one thing to remember. Look short on that one.
But still, all smiles.
Oh, yeah. Karina just is always laughing through her routines. I remember when she was really little, we used to yell at her for laughing through her routines.
She'll have one more pass. And, two, I think in a bigger setting, you're going to have clapping and you're going to have people getting into it. Here's your final pass. So now, as if you were judging, what do you think that would be?
That's probably going to be a low 9, just because of the fall. The fall's really what's just going to kill her. But that was a big pass, and I think because she fell on that pass, she's going to lose a little bit of bonus. So it is going to be a little bit of a lower score than for Karina, but it's still going to be a nice score. And the judges have been watching her long enough that they know what this routine is supposed to look like and what she is capable of doing, which means that they're going to be harder on her. And so, like, those little steps that she has, like after a leap pass or a tumbling pass, they're going to take a lot on those.
She had a 9.4 on Friday night, so maybe a 9 or 9, if not a high 8.
Yeah, I'm probably thinking like an 8-9 with the fall.
As the judges will total that, and now we'll head over to our bars. Not sure what they are. I don't know if it's going to be Abby's performance, as she's already done her touch, so we'll be on the bars. They're waiting for the judge to finish the previous. And how about that? The weight.
It is the most stressful thing, especially at big meets like EDC or state. Oh my gosh, it just kills you.
Because you've got everything in your head. You're already nervous.
Yep, and then you just have this time to sit here and like tell yourself everything you need to do right.
Here is Abby over on the bars now. Abby Thornton from Valley City.
Beautiful handstand there. Little bit of a chest down on her landing there, which will be a deduction there. But her handstands are just beautiful.
And then you talk about being a taller gymnast, she was able to, she had the body control coming around the lower bar to miss the...
Yes, which is also a pretty big deduction. So the fact that because I heard at Friday she tapped her feet on that release move, which is a pretty big deduction. But since she kept her feet up, that's going to be a big score. So
that was Abby Thornton on the bars. And we'll get and I believe that 8.25 that they have up, I believe that was Grace Undum's 8.25 on the bars. And so now we'll see what Abby Thornton will get here. 8.95 for Karina Olson on the floor. So about where we thought it would be.
Yep.
So Karina Olson got an 8.95 on the floor exercise. And on the uneven bars, we're waiting for Abby Thornton's score. So I'm old school. I'm going to use the whole full vernacular. I gotta remember this is the 21st century. Things have, slimmed down a little bit and changed.
That's all right. Blair Arbuckle on vault here.
So ahead to the vault, Blair Arbuckle from Jamestown.
Oh, bummer. Blair Arbuckle is actually from Valley City originally.
Okay.
She's the same age as Karina, and they were best friends for the longest time before she moved to Jamestown, and I think it was like 5th grade. So it's been really fun to see her at meets and stuff.
So that was, I believe, her first attempt on the vault for Blair Arbuckle. Again, we've got the Jamestown Blue Jays and Valley City in this blue and white mixed up meet where the teams are smashed together and create 5 different teams. Here's Blair's second attempt, or pardon me.
Yep, Blair.
Yeah, Blair's second attempt on the vault. Well, the hands touch that time, which is more of a deduction falling backwards or if you fall forward and your hands touch.
It's the same. It's a 0.5 deduction.
It is a 0.5, okay. And again, depending on the degree of difficulty on the routine, where it starts.
Yep, I believe her normal tuck suit starts from a 9.7.
9.7.
And then since she does a tuck, it can progress from there. So if she does a pike, it's higher, or if it's a layout, it's higher.
Well, this is coverage of the blue and white meet. Now nobody is competing, and so we are just in that calm before the storm, the lull that we have here. And I guess, too, Olivia, when you look at just this early part of the season, at what point in the season do you really start working on your skills and your upgrades that you want to carry into the EDC and the state tournament?
I think early season is still when you should be working on upgrading your skills. But about halfway through the season, you should have your skills picked out and your routines kind of solidified, because that's when you can start cleaning them up, like making sure you have straight legs, pointed toes, you're hitting your handstands, like that kind of thing. And then just carrying that momentum through EDC and state.
So mid-January, because on EDC will be early part of February, and the state the middle part of February. So when you get about a month away, you got to have everything figured out.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, and gymnastics is such a year-round sport, so you're able to work on these skills for 8 months out of the year.
And you look at the standings, there was a clean vault.
Beautiful suit pike by Haley Nelson there.
Haley Nelson, Jamestown on the vault. Again, finishing second last year in the all-around behind Amy Fridley. And you look at the rankings coming in here to tonight. Based on, depending on what the Highlanders will do tonight, more than likely they'll be number 3 in the state after everything is averaged out. They take all your meets. They get an average of your meets so far. We've got an average about a 139 off the top of my head. So right now at number 3. But when you see what Dickinson did on Friday, is that something now, too, that the coach says, okay, that's something we kind of have an idea what they have as you kind of score watch as the season goes on?
Yeah, it's hard to kind of gauge exactly what Dickinson's going to do because we don't see them all season being on opposite sides of the state. But I think Dickinson's pretty good at like what they do at the beginning of the season. They don't upgrade too much throughout the season. They just kind of solidify those routines.
Jamestown, also number 2. So here's Haley Nelson second on the vault for Jamestown.
Few steps there, but I think they'll take that first score.
Because you can take one or the other.
Yep, so they get 2 vaults, and then they're both judged completely, and then they take the better score.
So that was the final athlete on the vaults for Jamestown, for Haley Nelson. Now those that were competing on the vault will come over to the bars. Those on the bars will go to the beam. Beam will go over to the floor. Floor to vault, if I remember my rotation correctly.
Yes. I think we might still have one more on floor.
From Jamestown.
Yep. Emma Hillerud, I believe.
Yep, that's Emma Hillerud is on the floor. And so we'll have it over the floor exercise for Emma Hillerud's routine. Or will we?
Oh, maybe not.
Maybe not. So no, they have decided, no, we'll head over to the vault. And there's another, when you look at, I think it happened on Friday night, Dickinson had a plethora of girls here. Jamestown had a large number of girls here. You only take 4 scores when you put it together. After 4 or 5, maybe 6, so okay, we'll stop there and maybe not have the rest. Can you do that, or do you have to tell the judges we're going to have 8 do this?
So it depends on what meet. So usually at really big meets where there's like 8 teams, they'll limit the number of girls you compete to 6 usually, because that's how many you can compete at state. You compete 8 girls at state, or no, not 8, 6.
Yeah.
You compete 6 girls at state and EDC, but some meets will limit it to 8 girls per event, or they'll just have like unlimited. Or since Valley City has a smaller number, they'll allow other teams to add more scores in, just because of rotation-wise, just to let girls compete.
And that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Just let them get out there, let them compete and do the routines. So now the team with Grace Undum and Abby Thornton, they are on the beam. And Karina Olson's team has moved over to the vault. And Jada Nelson's team is now on the floor. And Zoe Bierke's will be on the bars. And those are the highliners where they'll move to.
Very excited to see Jada Nelson compete on floor. I haven't seen this girl in a Leo since she was in probably the 6th grade.
Played hockey for Jamestown the last several years, a goaltender for the Blue Jay hockey team. Matter of fact, they went to state last year in hockey. So it's been a while since she's been in the gym.
She had a bit of it was a back injury, I want to say, which prevented her from doing gymnastics for a while. And so her parents had her try hockey, and she just decided that gymnastics was her calling. And so floor, because of her back injury, floor is pretty much the only event she's able to do.
Okay. So Jada Nelson will be competing here on the floor when they get the floor. And again, on the beam, it'll be Grace Undum and Abby Thornton. Right now, one of the Jamestown athletes getting her touch on the beam. Getting her touch over on the bars right now for Valley is Bierke, Zoe Bierke. And also your coach cannot touch, and when you're on the bars, you can have a spotter, but they can't touch.
Right. They can stand there for usually bigger skills like Abby's double back or like big skills like that. They're allowed to stand there. But if they if they do touch the athlete, it is a deduction for spot.
Okay. And I would say that'd be a fairly large deduction.
I believe it's a half point.
Yeah, 5/10, half a point deduction. But you kind of still, for safety's sake, you'd like to have that spotter there.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it's about.
And as a gymnast, are you more confident if you have that spotter or not, or doesn't it really matter?
It all depends on the athlete. I know Karina has a little bit of a mental block where she just needs someone to stand there, but she knows she's fully capable of doing the skill.
It's always nice to have that.
Yeah, and I've seen Abby whip out double backs when Johnny's in the bathroom or something.
Just do them.
Yeah.
But that's confidence. That's what that is.
Yep.
Knowing you can do that, knowing you've got that routine down. This is coverage of the blue and white meet here from the Youth Sports Complex, the Varsity Highliners and Jamestown. And now Grace Undum is on the beam getting her touch.
I believe she's competing.
Yeah, she's competing. I looked at the judge, and she looked serious.
Disconnection from her series there.
No, she tried that again?
Doesn't look like it. Looks like she'll just be taking the disconnection. Say what you want about full turns on beam, but they are the hardest skill out there.
And that's not?
Yeah.
Well, if the full turn, you're taking your eyes probably off the beam.
Yep, that's kind of the hardest part. You just get so much off for wobbles on those full turns. It's across the state, not just one team. Solid routine from Zoe there.
That was Zoe Bierke on the bars. And right now we have Grace Undum competing on the beam.
That was a beautiful connection.
Getting ready for the dismount.
Solid dismount there. Just looking a little shaky out there. I think she was just a little in her head.
Grace Undum finishing up on the beam. And Potretz just got done with her floor exercise, their floor routine for Valley City. Coming up, we'll be checking on Karina Olson's over on the vault. And how about you, when you were in the room here in the gym with these younger gymnasts, do you kind of help them along a little bit if you get a chance to maybe break away from what you're working on to help them a little bit?
Oh, yeah, every now and then, especially like when I was training and stuff, it was always fun to like look over and see what they're working on, or if you just say, hey, show me a cool trick you're working on. Or sometimes they'll even come over to you and say, Olivia, like, look at what I'm working on. And that was always super fun. Or especially when I came and visited in the summer and then they had to show me every skill they were working on. It's always very fun to see.
Well, they got a chance. They probably watched you compete, and now they're out there getting ready to compete. So it's kind of showing off, if you will.
Yeah. Well, and it's very surreal because I remember being like that little girl and looking up at the high schoolers, and then it just kind of like you're a senior and it clicks that like you are the big girls now. And
you're the mentor.
Yeah.
For some of these young gymnasts.
Well, and in my head, Abby and Karina are still 10 years old and less than 100 pounds. Like,
that's been a while ago.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But like, it's just crazy, and especially just like their gymnastics, how much it's matured too, is just so fun to see.
Now we got over on the vault. Here goes Karina Olson on the vault, just doing her touch. Judge is looking at me, so I know she's not competing. She's just doing her touch on the vault. You get just one touch? Or do you get two on the ball?
You get 2 minutes technically, so if you want to, you can take two, but most just take one. It's just make sure you're feeling good.
So Karina Olson is next up here. She is on the vault for Valley City. Looks like she's going to get one touch. Well, actually, they're going to...
Looks like she wanted one more touch,
yep.
And Johnny wasn't paying attention.
They're trying to move mats around here. It's a little bit different than Friday night. Friday night, it was a lot more activity because you had 4 teams and you had a lot more stuff going on. It was easier to pick out where we're going to be focusing on.
Yeah, that is true.
As we will have Abby Thornton. She'll get her touch here yet on the beam before she'll have her routine. And Zoe Bierke's already competed. She got in 7.55. Zoe was got a 7.55 on her routine on the bars.
Not bad.
And looking at what she did here on Friday night, as I thumbed through all of my notes, she had a 7.6, so about where she did on Friday night with a 7.6.
1 pointed toe.
And we talked about Karina. She had a 9.4 on Friday night, but you mentioned that fall on one of her passes.
Yep, that falls kill you, especially if you're doing a really big skill that you get bonus for. If you fall on that skill, you lose all that bonus. So not only do you get that half a point for falling, but you also lower your start value.
So now it'll be Abby Thornton on the beam.
Looks like we got Haley Nelson competing on bars here.
And there her feet hit the mat.
Yep.
Getting ready for the dismount. So we're on the beam where Abby Thornton will be. I think she's working on her touch first. So she is just getting her touch in. And then they'll have a
Jamestown girl.
Have a Jamestown girl go, and then Abby next.
Yep.
Very similar routine to Karina's.
Yes.
On the floor.
I remember the debut of this routine, and someone on our team was not very happy with the music choice.
Gee, I wonder.
Not to name names.
There still is that competitive thing, isn't there?
Yes, there is such a stigma with like who has the best routines, and no one talks about it, but it's there. The secret judgment of routines.
So we will have Abby Thornton will be next up, coming up in just a few minutes, and she will be on the beam, and then we'll get to the beam with Abby Thornton's routine.
Blair Arbuckle competing on bars over here.
Former Valley
little
City.
Short on the handstand. Wasn't able to quite save that giant there.
for Abby Thornton on the beam. And watching on that far side, Karina, now you can practice your beam routine even though you're not on the beam. Looks like she's doing stuff she would do on the beam.
Yep, that was a big thing I always did. I'd always find a little area and kind of just go through the motions of your beam routine. Not necessarily doing the full thing, but just making sure your body's ready for it. Going from a big event like bars where you need to be super powerful and aggressive to going to beam where you need to be a lot more focused it's a big jump. So that's what you'll see a lot of gymnasts doing, where they're just trying to like slow it down and focus in.
I think I said Karina, I meant Abby. Because now Abby Thornton here on the beam. The junior for Valley City.
I think we'll have Karina on vault here before.
Yep, Karina, so we'll head over to vault. Karina Olsen will be getting her first attempt on vault. And also we have Jada Nelson on floor.
Oh, boy.
So why don't we, Jaden Johnson, let's go over the floor exercise. Let's do the floor. It looks like Karina's going to wait.
And if I'm not mistaken, Jada learned this routine this weekend. Beautiful opening pass there. Just the big step. Beautiful strug. Solid passes. They're super clean today. That was funky. I don't know if you can see it, but Karina and Jada are just cracking up with each other. Ooh, good save there.
Very focused and not a lot of smiles until she was over in that corner, and then she started giggling.
I think
Karina was saying something to her.
Karina saw that she was, I could tell Jada was a little lost in her routine, but.
Now we got Karina on the ball. Oh, step and a half. She looks surprised.
Yeah, I think she was pretty close to falling into the pit there. She managed to save it. Because she did fall into the pit on Friday, from what I heard.
And right here in front of us now, we'll have Abby Thornton is on the beam.
A little bit of a wobble in between that series, but I think she'll still get credit for the connection. Notice how quiet it gets. Solid leap pass there. I think that was the one thing Abby struggled with the most season, was her leap series, which it looks like she's cleaned up a lot, and it looks really solid this season. Ooh. Little shake on the mat there, which threw off her dismount, but very solid routine.
She came off kind of off to the side, didn't come straight off the end on the dismount.
Yes, which is typically what they do with the gainer, so you don't smack your head, obviously.
Smart.
Yeah. Well, because typically that dismount can be done like in the middle of the beam, so you kind of just get in the habit of pushing off to the side a little bit there. But I think that's going to be a big score for Abby.
We'll go back to the vault. Karina Olsen with her second attempt on the vault. Now, will she try the same skill or try something different in the second attempt?
I think she'll do the same vault, which I don't know the exact name of Karina's vault. I know it has one, but it's a Chanko full off, I believe.
That first one was better.
I think she might actually score higher on that second one just because of how much farther she went out, and I think she took a couple less steps there. She was able to hold it together.
So that was Karina Olson on the vault. And I believe we've done as far as highliners on in their events.
Not sure if that's Jada's score on floor with the 8.75. Or if that's been there for a while.
I think that is hers. I think they just put it up. So Jada got an 8.75 on the floor. Because I noticed the judge is
looks pretty
done.
relaxed.
Yep, just having her drink of water. So that tells me that the score has been in for a while. And that was your first time judging on Friday, correct?
Yes, that was very stressful, but I got through it. I kind of held up the meet a little bit, but.
Well, I was talking about that you know, it was going pretty smoothly, but things kind of slowed down on the beam.
Yeah. Well, it didn't help that we also started with the largest team at the first rotation when I wasn't used to it. It's like they're putting up Abby's score here. (9.2) for Abby. Nice.
And compared to what she did on Friday night, she did a 9.175. So a 9.2.
Pretty consistent there. And I think Abby still has some room for improvement. I believe she didn't have full bonus in there, so she still has room to bring her score up even more. But it was a very clean routine.
So a 9.2 for Abby Thornton on the beam, 8.75 for Jada Nelson on the floor. As we complete the second rotation. Now in some meets, this is halftime.
Yeah. Sometimes judges like to take a break in between the events, but I don't know if we'll do that tonight.
I know Friday night they didn't. I think part of it was weather. They wanted to kind of work it through to get the teams out and going, and so we'll see here if they do take a little bit of a break. Doesn't look like the judges are getting up. They're staying at their posts, but we are halfway through. 2 rotations in. Valley City and Jamestown. It is the blue-white fun meet, the mix-up teams. And again, they have one highliner on each team, and one team does have 2, Grace Sundom and Abby Thornton on a team. And their team now will be on the floor. And Karina now will be over here on the bars. And then over on the beam will be Zoe Bierke. And into the vault will be Jada Nelson. That is the current rotation. So we have a little bit of a lull before things continue on. We'll just take a quick break. We'll be back. This is Highliner Gymnastics on the Highliner Activity Network.
No, this is different. That's different.
Back here at the Blue and White Meet at Sports Complex here in Valley City. The Highliners and Jamestown. Paul McDonald and Olivia Olson joining us here tonight. Jaden Johnson, our cameraman and technical director. And I think our first Highliner competitor is going to be Zoe Bierke. She's going to be on the beam. Does that chalk on your feet really work?
Yes. I didn't use it too often, but there was a couple times where I was like, if I don't have chalk on my feet, I'm going to slip right off the beam.
So here we go with Zoe Bierke on the beam for the Highliners.
Series here is a back walk over. The solid connection there. Solid jump series there. Wolf jump tuck 3/4 with a little bit of a wobble there, but she held it. Solid dismount. That was a really nice routine from Zoe.
That was a nice routine from Zoe. Zoe Bierke on the beam. And this is something I was going to talk to you about. And gymnastics is one of those rare sports, it seems like to me, as a casual observer, where fans and athletes cheer for opposition.
Yes. It's one of those sports where everyone just kind of cheers for everyone because it's a sport where you can get to know everyone with all the downtime in between events and everything, because we're here for, 4 hours, but you do the math and you're competing for less than like 3 minutes. So you have to do something.
You appreciate a good floor. Now Grace Undum is doing, I think, warming up here on the floor. If you see a good floor routine, I don't care if it's the team your team or not, you're going to applaud it and you're going to appreciate it.
Karina and I were talking after the meet on Friday, and she was talking about Amy Fridley's vault. I don't know if you saw it. Huge vault. And Karina even said out loud to Abby, I believe, I don't even care if I lose. That vault deserves to win.
It's competitive, yet you can appreciate what other athletes do.
Yes. Yep.
And fans are the same way. I mean, at a meet, if your team is done, but you're still going to watch and see what another athlete does and appreciate what they do.
Yes.
Because as a fan and as a gymnast, you know the hard work that goes into what you're doing.
Yes. For some people, it really does just come natural, and they're just naturally clean, or they're just naturally powerful. Some girls really do start from nothing and work to everything they have.
And like I said, as a novice, I'm like, I would appreciate it. I watch men's gymnastics, college gymnastics, like, good gravy. Those are some pretty in shape and solid athletes.
Yeah, men's gymnasts are a different breed of athlete, I'd say.
We are at the Blue and White meet. Again, now we're
going to have Chloe on floor over here. I actually choreographed this routine.
So let's go to floor exercise. Let's go to the floor, and Chloe from Valley City Twisters and her routine.
Ooh, she got her strug.
Little sass.
Very sassy. Solid routine.
Choreographed by Olivia Olson.
Yeah.
That was a good routine.
It's always fun to work with the little girls because they get to use some of that more like spunky music. Looks like Jay's going to be up on vault. Maybe.
Jay Potratz, yep. So she's going to be on vault, so we'll head to vault. Jay Potratz here.
Jay Potratz is going to be a big name one day. I'm calling it.
Keep an eye on that one.
Yep. She's only been doing gymnastics for a few years now, I believe. And she is so solid. She is not scared of anything. Her skills are super clean. She's going to be good.
That is something I don't think we have talked about. Your fear level has to be very low, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, which I was not good at. I was so scared of everything, so I had to learn, like, what's the easiest skill I can do and still get credit for doing it.
So now it'll be her first attempt. Here goes Jay Potratz on the vault for the highlighters.
Really nice front handsprings. She does a really nice job at squeezing really tight and keeping that handstand throughout the whole vault. Which at her age is like the hardest part of the whole vault. So the fact that she's doing it with ease is really impressive.
That body control and body awareness at that age is
vital.
It's very vital. As the judge is tallying. Now will they give her another attempt right away?
Yep.
Looks like she is waiting for the judge to give her the go-ahead. So we have Jay Potratz on the vault.
What I think is really fun, too, is that the judges are actually judging their vaults and their routines.
And to be able to compete with the bigger girls has got to be fun for them.
Oh, I'm sure. I would have lost my mind doing this at their age.
So here's Jay with their second attempt on the vault. I think he just told, just kind of wait, just relax.
I think the judge was checking out the floor routine.
The floor routine.
I want to say the vault judge is from Jamestown.
Okay.
I think the vault, beam, and floor judges are all from Jamestown.
Second attempt for Jay. A little bit better.
She got a lot more distance from the table to the landing mat, but I think her first one was a little bit cleaner and holding her shape, so could be really close either way.
So that distance is vital.
Yeah, so especially with those handspring vaults, that's where most of their deductions will come from. So for me, I scored really well with handspring fulls because I was able to get that air and get that distance away from the table, whereas a lot of gymnasts don't get that air, and so they get a pretty big deduction there.
How did, I'm going to ask a question to you, how did working with gymnastics help you as far as a pole vaulter in track?
Yeah, that's a really good, I actually ran into a gymnast friend at the first track meet. She competes at UND now in pole vaulter, and a lot of teams will recruit gymnasts to be pole vaulters because we learn body awareness and we learn strength and we know how to pick up advanced events like that so quickly. So I think if I wasn't a gymnast, I wouldn't have any idea how to do any of that.
Well, I have told a story. I wish I could remember the young lady's last name, but this is back in the 90s from a small high school in Minnesota. Gymnast, her first name was Dallas. I can't remember her last name, but she was a gymnast and a pole vaulter in high school, in Hawley High School in Minnesota. She went on to be the Minnesota Lynx mascot for 5 years.
Oh, really?
Because of her gymnastics abilities, stuff that she could do on the floor,
right.
and her. So that's what she went on and did for 5 years after she graduated from college, and that's kind of interesting that utilizing those gymnastic skills. And made a career out of it as a mascot.
Yeah.
But she was a very good gymnast and a very good pole vaulter, a state champ pole vaulter, if memory serves, in Minnesota and the small schools.
Looks like we got Grace Sundum on floor over here.
Yep, on the floor, Grace Sundum.
Solid pass there. I knew Grace got a new floor routine this year, and I hadn't seen it until now, so I'm very excited. Solid. Nice. Ooh, a little short of a landing there, but very nice routine from Grace there.
Grace Sundum wrapping up here, and now we have Karina Olsen doing her touch on the beams, or on the bars.
Very vocal over on bars today. I've heard her and Haley Nelson both talk on their handstands there.
While they're doing it.
Yes. Which is not something everyone can do. Some gymnasts cannot talk during their routines or their skills, but some are very vocal.
So Karina, that was her touch.
Yep.
And now they will, I don't know if she's next, if they will have
I think they're Brenna Hatch going.
Goes first, and then it will be Karina.
Looks like Blair Arbuckle's on beam.
Yeah, this is her routine. And you have a minute and a half?
Yep, you get a minute and a half total, but you get 40. If you fall, you get 45 seconds before you have to get back up.
Actually, Karina that was still her touch.
Yep.
Yeah. She had to re-chalk.
That's her second fall on that back walk over there. Solid back handspring there, though.
Blair at a 9.275 Friday night in her vault routine.
Yeah, it looks like she's on her third fall now. Those full turns, I'm telling you. Something about them is just so difficult. Number 4. Good dismount there. Yeah, once you fall in the same skill twice, it's hard to like motivate yourself to just fight for those skills the rest of the routine.
The concentration level I find very impressive because there is so much going on, and it's only human nature to take a quick glance and see what else is going on.
Yeah.
And just the discipline and concentration you need when you're doing, especially on the beam.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy though, because like you hear like people are cheering for you, but you just drown it all out somehow.
Comes from experience.
Yeah, and I think and to keep your balance, a lot of gymnasts spot the end of the beam, so most of the time you can kind of see that their eyes are facing down, so they're kind of just focusing on that end of the beam, which helps.
So again, next up for the Highliners, eventually we'll have Karina Olsen on the bars. but she is on deck. So we have that quiet lull right now. Looks like everybody's already done on the beam.
Yep, beam is done.
Floor, we still have a couple competitors.
Vault looks like they're just getting everything set. Same with bars.
Because I haven't seen Abby Thornton has not done her routine yet on the floor.
No.
So we are waiting Abby to compete on the floor. And Karina will be competing here on the bars. That'll be the next set for the Highliners. So they'll have a warm-up before Karina will be up. Unless she will be up right now. It looks like she is getting set to hit the bars. And on Friday night,
I believe Friday night she had her highest bar score she's ever had.
Finished fifth with that 9.4.
Which is insane. Fifth with a 9.4.
Elizabeth Karski, the 7th grader from Dickinson, had a 9.65. And Amy Fridley had a 9.5. So here's, well, she's still doing her touch, still warming up. And Haley Nelson had a 9.5 that night. And Abby was right behind her in 6th at a 9.2.
Crazy.
And when you look at those scores, wow, you had a 9.4, but you're 5th.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's just so crazy. Well, and then you get to state where, like, everyone's scores are just, like, half a tenth apart. And it's crazy what, like, one bent leg can drop you from, like, 3rd to 8th.
So we may have a couple of Highlanders going at the same. I think Abby Thornton is next on the floor. The judge is heading in her score, so I think Karina will be coming up here on the bars. So we'll be over on the bars now for Karina Olsen's routine. Timing will actually be pretty good. About the time she's done, we'll have Abby on the floor exercise. So here's Karina Olsen on the bars, a junior.
Beautiful. Little toe
touch.
Tap. Solid dismount there.
She was wondering if the judge could see her on her dismount.
Coach Johnny got in the way a little bit there.
So now let's over to the floor, and Abby Thornton on the floor routine.
Really nice lead pass there. A little bit of leg separation on that. Nice leap there too. I think this is the most I've seen Abby like really into a routine ever. Really nice pass there. Very nice routine from Abby. I think that'll score really high.
And checking out what she did on the floor here on Friday night. My fingers can work and work through the papers. She had a 9.05, so she scored a little higher than that.
Yeah, I think she'll I think she'll score a lot higher than that.
So we have the third rotation just about complete. Matter of fact, I think the floor is all that is remaining with competitors, and actually still have
Emma Hillerud on the vault.
On the vault. So Emma Hillerud from Jamestown is on the vault right now. She had an 8.975 Friday night. Whoop, oh.
Other than those steps, really nice vault.
You know, if they're not, I know this is the fun meet, but I'd love to get them on headsets and what are they thinking during the meet. But I suppose you have to be so focused.
Yeah, during meets is hard.
Like, hey, Karina, come on, throw on the headset, let's talk. Like, yeah, I better not.
Well, and it's especially if they have like a rougher routine. Like Karina knew she touched her feet on that, so she's not going to score as well as she did last time. That just kind of gets in your head a little bit.
They're putting her score up right now.
Well, still a 9 at least.
9.65.
Wow.
Which is 0.2 of a point higher than what she scored on Friday night.
Her face is just absolute awe. I also don't fully understand that score.
And if that is her score, look at she's just
look
getting
at my score.
Look at my score. That would be the highest she's ever gotten.
Yeah. And I would say that wasn't even her. I mean, other than that foot tap, there was really no deductions, honestly. Her bail hit all of the handstands and no leg separations. She's consistent all the way through, and other than a little foot separation on her dismount. Yeah.
So we'll get that 9.65 for Karina Olson on the beam. Looks like 9.45 for Abby Thornton on the floor.
Very nice score.
And that completes rotation number 3. So now that will have Grace Sundom and Abby Thornton will be on the vault. Karina Olson will be here on the beam. Zoe Berkey will be going over to the floor, and Jada Nelson will be here on the bars. So as we wait to get things rolling here with our final rotation here tonight in the blue-white meet, step aside, we'll be back. This is Highlander Gymnastics, the blue and white meet with Jamestown on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here at the U Sports Complex in Valley City, the Highliners, the Blue Jays. And let's head over to the floor where Zoe Bierke is doing her floor routine right now.
Little bit of a short landing there. Really nice jump series. Really nice pass. Little low on that back layout there. Pretty nice routine from Zoe. A little bit of funky landings on some of her tumbling passes there, and heel drop on her turn, which will be a little bit of a deduction, but
Had an 8-7 Friday night on her floor routine. Zoe Bierke for Valley City. Again, the rotation has Abby Thornton and Grace Undum. They are over on the vault. Jada Nelson will be here on the bars, and in front of us on the beam will be Karina Olson. Final rotation tonight. And then we'll get the scores at the end and let you know how the blue and white meet for 2021 turned out here this evening. And again, these scores will count as far as towards the season. So this would be the third meet for Valley City. Jamestown, I believe, has already got 3 meets in themselves, or 2 meets actually. And they are pretty consistent at a 141.6 and a 141.175 in their 2 meets. So right now ranked number 2 behind Dickinson. The Highliners at number 3. Unofficial.
yeah.
After tonight is official. Is that just because of a sample size? Make sure you get 3 meets. That's a good sample size.
Yeah.
Why they wait for that?
I think so. It's a good number to average. We're also missing Maddie Wendell tonight, so I think that might be a little bit of a damper on their score, but not too much.
And we've mentioned this before, too, how young the Highliners are. Just 3, no seniors, 4 juniors. Then you drop down to 4 freshmen, and this is varsity level for this team. But a lot of 5th, 6th, 7th graders, a lot of those young girls. And, they stick with it. You're going to find maybe adding a JV team possibly down the line if you get enough in that younger group.
Yeah, I can definitely see a JV team getting added to Valley, which is good. I mean, we've never really had the numbers to have a JV team. I mean, my freshman year, so Jossie and I's freshman year, it was 3 freshmen and 2 7th graders, and we still came out with an EDC championship, so small teams can work.
Especially if they're talented teams.
Yes, yeah, if they all work hard enough, good things happen.
I want to say the streak then, is it 4 years? Or did we win 1 year, freshman year, lost it, and
My
then had one
sophomore
lost
year.
3?
Yep, so we lost it. We had it I think freshman year was our 5th Pete, and then we lost it our sophomore year. Dang Grand Forks. And then junior and senior year. So if we win this year, it'll be a 3-peat.
And then runners-up at the state meet was the best finish for Highlander Gymnastics.
Since like
1992.
Yeah,
or
87.
It was actually, it was when, I think it was even before your dad graduated from high school. That's a long time.
Yes, it really was.
He's here, so he's not listening, so we're okay to say that now. Yeah, it was. It was like in the mid-'80s, mid to late 80s was the last time the Highlanders had that good of a finish.
Yeah.
Because it has been the Dickinson invite for the last decade.
Yep. Dickinson has just been, they're just a powerhouse.
New coach this year in Dickinson and in Jamestown. Of course, Dave Taves was the Jamestown Gymnastics coach for many years. I want to say 30 plus possibly. And he has stepped aside. Amanda Bitts, who has been helping him out, has now taken over as the head coach. Johnny in his second year here at Valley City.
Yeah, it's kind of weird not seeing Dave Toos here anymore. I mean, last year the whole team showed up with ugly Christmas sweaters that just had a picture of Dave Toos on them. So that was pretty funny.
And he probably made them too, knowing Dave.
I don't think they told him, actually. I think it was a big surprise.
Big surprise.
It was very funny.
And this meet you always have right at the holiday.
Yep.
Because it's a fun meet.
Yep. Nice little de-stress.
Because now Highlanders will be done as far as meets are concerned until after the new year. I think they go up to Fargo in January. They go up to Fargo January 7th. And back here at the end of January for another home meet.
Yep.
Actually, there might be one in between there here at home, but I know for sure there's one at the end of the month. Then the EDC, that'll be at Three Rivers, so that'll be in Wahpeton. And the state meet, it's in Dickinson. Is that the state meet?
Love that drive.
What, that 3 hour, 45-minute drive?
Oh, yeah, so fun. They actually usually end up leaving Thursday night because it's too much of a drive to make in the morning.
Karina Olson is on the beam now. And, of course, we were kind of watching other things. I don't know. I think she's had her touch. And she's just waiting to jump on for her competitive, though she's getting
Not
warm.
Quite.
Nope.
We're going to have, oh, my goodness, I'm blanking on her name. Lauren. We're going to have Lauren on beam.
Lauren's on the beam from...
I think she's just doing her touch here.
Yeah, Judge is still tallying from the previous competitor. Zoe Berkey has already competed on the floor. Abby Thornton and Grace Undum will be competing on the vault. And then we'll also have Jada Nelson here on the bars. Our final rotation tonight. And after this is all completed, we'll give you the scores. Just a reminder, coming up here on the Highlight Activity Network, we've got boys basketball tomorrow night. Valley City taking on Fargo South. JV at 5:30, varsity around 7:15 tomorrow evening for high school basketball. Take a week off, then we'll be back with more boys action coming up the following Tuesday, the 28th. And Fargo Shanley will be in town for that doubleheader with junior varsity and varsity on Tuesday, December 28th. That'll be our next boys basketball action. And again, those of you that continue to watch Coach's Corner will be on hiatus for a couple of weeks. But then we'll be back that first Wednesday in January, January 5th, with our Coach's Corner from the Hack. Again, everything archived on our YouTube channel in the past. And, of course, watching it live on the Highlight Activity Network, playsite.com. We appreciate you joining us on this Monday night. Paul McDonald, along with Olivia Olson, Jaden Johnson, our cameraman, technical director tonight. And we are in the blue-white meet, Valley City, Jamestown. Our fourth and final rotation. Oh, did they fly through the bars and we missed all the competitors on bars already?
I think they only had two girls go on bars.
I don't think Jada Nelson did the bars.
No, just floor
you
for her
mentioned the back.
Yep. Really nice beam routine by Brenna Hatch there.
Brenna Hatch on the beam for the Blue Jays. Now Karina Olson. I think this is her touch.
Yep.
So she will get her touch first. We've got Abby Thornton. That'll be over on the vault, along with Grace Undum.
Karina giving us a nice little dance routine there.
She needs to come out of her shell.
Yeah, I know. She's just so locked away in there, isn't she?
She's such an introvert. But in all seriousness, as a gymnast, you need to be an extrovert, don't you? You need to have a personality that comes out on your routines.
Yes, especially on floor. Floor is the hardest one for girls that are very like to just kind of keep them to themselves, like to just do their skills. Like floor is a routine or an event where you have to show off. You have to be sassy and have fun with it.
Be a little cocky, have a little swagger.
Yeah.
What was your first favorite event, second best event? Were they the same one?
Yeah, beam was always my favorite because it was just, I don't know, it was just fun. Also, I feel like beam is one of the hardest events to like be consistent like to stay on the beam. And I felt like I was really good at that, so it made it fun.
So now here's Lauren's routine on the beam.
Yes.
And then I think Karina Olsen will be following her. Also, Grace Undum is competing on the vault right now. So we have Grace Undum on the vault. First attempt. That was not planned.
That was just her touch.
That was her touch.
I had to process whether or not that was a competition vault.
Because the judge was paying attention. But
yeah. Got Lauren on beam here. Really nice cartwheel there. At that age, it's really hard to teach solid connections like that, like quick ones, and she did a really good job at that. Solid jumps, too.
You see the concentration on her face.
Oh, yeah. Especially at that age.
Back flip for the dismount. Nicely done.
Very stuck in everything. That was a good confidence boost. Of course, Karina's there to congratulate her, and even some of the Jamestown girls.
So that was Lauren on the beam. And what are you marking on the beam right now? What is Karina marking with the chalk on the beam?
Karina she does a backhand dismount, so she's marking where her feet need to be so that when she does her back handspring, she's at the end of the beam.
So she'll be next as soon as the judge is ready. And this is our final rotation, and I think getting towards the end of our competition. Abby Thornton yet to compete on the vault.
Looks like we'll probably have... Oh, looks like we might have Grace coming up before Karina.
I think Grace did her too while Lauren was competing on the beam. I think Grace did hers, or at least
that would
think
make
I did.
sense.
Because she was competing or was on the vault.
Oh, this is too difficult having them mixed up.
This
is good practice for state, though.
It is very good practice. That was just okay. So Grace Undum just warmed up on the vault. I think we can tell with the judges standing. I think that's when they're competing.
Yep, because for vault, because it's so fast, the judges will just watch the entire thing and then they'll write everything down. Which, like, I couldn't even write things down while people were doing beam routines, so.
Well, Lauren's got a 7. Gonna flip over that card. Maybe a 7.5.
I think we're going 7.9. No, just kidding. We're still going.
7.5. Gotta find it. And now
those numbers are buggers. I will give them that.
Here's Karina on the beam now in her routine.
Beautiful series there. A lot better than her handstand back handspring from last Friday. A little wobble on that full turn there. Absolutely massive switch side. Solid jumps.
Wow.
I know I'm trying to not be biased, but her beam is just incredible this year. And I was wrong. She actually does a aerial back full for her dismount there, which still is absolutely insane.
9.575 on Friday.
Yep. I
This
could
might
see
be
a
better.
very similar score.
Yeah. Here is Abby Thornton still. I think this is still her last touch.
Woo!
And she's just letting her fly. And you notice too, if you watch Friday night and then watch tonight, she starts farther back than some of the gymnasts to get that running start.
Yes, Abby has a very long running start, but she gets that speed up there. And it's actually kind of an issue because when we go to Jamestown, their runway isn't long enough for Abby there. So she has to adapt a little bit.
So they will be our last competitors on the vault and the night. Looks like everybody has wrapped up their rotation. And then we'll have Abby Thornton and I think Grace also.
Yep,
Here comes Grace's first attempt on the vault.
Really nice vault from Grace.
So Grace Undum.
Grace is an extremely powerful gymnast, so vault is really where she just shines.
So solid first attempt for Grace Undum. And then Abby Thornton will be the final competitor here as they're totaling things up.
Looks like we got a 9.45 for Karina here.
Yep.
Oh, yep.
Yep, not.
Oh.
No, hang on. 9.8.
9.8.
9.8 for Karina Olsen on the
wow.
beam. So Grace will probably take her first attempt. That was a much cleaner, but a 9.8
for Karina
on the beam.
Wow, that is going to be a hard score to top this year from anyone in the state, honestly.
And again, even though this is a fun mixed-up meet, these scores count.
Yes.
And so a 9.8 added to that 9.65 that she had on the beam, and a 9.1, I think it was a 9.1 on the floor. So
yeah, I think her. So this was always the mental math that I always did when I was competing. You kind of look at like what your normal score is. So Karina got a lower floor score, but she got a crazy high beam routine that it's really going to balance out. Her all-around score is probably going to be around a normal score.
A 36, 37,
yep,
where she normally would score. Here comes Abby Thornton, first attempt on the vault.
Huge vault from Abby. Little bit of a short landing, but beautiful height, beautiful shapes.
So that was her first attempt. She'll take a slow walk back and have her second attempt.
Abby's been working really hard at this vault all summer, I've heard, and I think it's really starting to pay off. And I know she's been having like ankle issues, I think it is. So the fact that they haven't sparked up yet, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
The land situation helps too because they're in the pit, but there's like a thick mat on top, so a little bit of a softer landing, which is nice.
Here's attempt number 2.
Beautiful vault there from Abby. That was a really great landing. That's going to be a high score, I think.
Looked like the landing was a little further away, but it was also cleaner.
Yes, the landing. She was able to land pretty much upright, got good height. Her body shape was solid throughout the entire thing. That's going to be a good score.
So now the score is getting tallied up, and that is, it looks like Chloe's going to just have some fun on the, give it a whirl there on the beam, or on the vault. But that will conclude the competition portion. So I will see what Abby Thornton's score is. We'll take a little bit of a break as we get the tallies, and then we will let you know how things played out here tonight with the blue and white meet with Jamestown and Valley City. Final meet of the 2021. They will get to the new year. As they're putting up 9.35 is what they're putting up for Abby on the vault. She had a 9.55 on Friday.
I think that, is that Abby's score?
Or would that be Grace's?
I think that might be Grace's.
That might be Grace's, 9.35. There's Chloe, whoop.
It's hard to not let go, it's not going to lie.
And her touch was actually better.
Yeah. It's a good thing she gets 2 vaults, right?
Yeah. So as we await for the final scores, as they get them tallied up, we'll step aside. We'll be back. This is coverage of the blue and white meet, Jamestown and Valley City High School Highliner Gymnastics on the Highliner Activity Network. Back here at the Youth Sports Complex here in Valley City, Paul McDonald, Karina Olson with you. Olivia Olson.
It was a good try.
That's the first time. I'm surprised I did that tonight. Olivia Olson, Jane Johnson, our technical director, cameraman tonight, and we've got our final tallies. So let's take a look at. We'll give you the individual. First off, the individual events, starting with the 6th place in the vault, as Sydney Fisher from Jamestown tied with Alyssa Larson at 8.65. Then in 5th place was Karina Olson at 8.8 on the vault. Haley Nelson from Jamestown at 8.9. Emma Hillerud at 8.95 was 3rd. Brenna Hatch was 2nd with a 9.1. And Abby Thornton a 9.35 took 1st. And the question with that, 9.35, we both kind of looked at each other and thought, that was a little low. Can a coach go to a judge and say, okay, why?
Well, so they're supposed to start with looking at the score sheet, and if they see something wrong with the score sheet, they can petition it to the chief judge. But Abby Brown did look at the score sheet and said everything seemed justified. The amplitude on Abby's vault, so her flip didn't get high enough, which, give or take, this is a very experienced vault judge we had today, so it is difficult to argue with her. But it was a really great vault.
It was, yeah.
And it looks like she was judging hard on everyone, so.
Well, then on the bars, 6 was Alyssa Larson at 8.35 from Jamestown. Brenna Hatch from the Jays was 5th with an 8.3. 4th place was Jasmine Hallman. She was an 8.75. 3rd was Abby Thornton with a 9.15. Haley Nelson, 9.25 was 2nd. And Karina Olson 1st with that 9.65 on the bars, which now we know is her best ever.
Yes.
On the bars. So back-to-back bests. She keeps setting that bar a little bit higher and higher, but 9.65 is going to be hard to beat during the season. Now we'll move into the beam. Jasmine Hallman was 6th with an 8.8. Brenna Hatch had a 9. She finished 5th. Emma Hillerud and Abby Thornton tied for 3rd with 9.2. Haley Nelson with a 9.35 was 2nd. And that big-time 9.8 for Karina Olson, taking 1st on the bars. And on the floor, Brenna Hatch was 6th with a 9.1. And then Emma Hillerud and Grace Undum tied for 4th with a 9.2. Blair Arbuckle was 3rd with a 9.25. Abby Thornton was with a 9.45. And Haley Nelson taking 1st with a 9.6 on the floor. And for the 2nd meet in a row, Karina Olson is your all-around champ with a 37.2. Abby Thornton finishing 2nd, 37.15. Then Haley Nelson was 3rd at 37.1. Brenna Hatch 4th at 35.58. Emma Hillerud at 35. And Jasmine Hallman was 33.9, finishing in 6th place. And I think they're going to go announce the top 10. So finishing 7th was Alyssa Larson was a 33.8. Grace Undum was 8th, 33.4. Zoe Bierke 9th at 33. And Lucy Falk from Jamestown a 32.3, finishing in 10th place. So team-wise, it'll go Jamestown with a 143.78, which will be their best score of the year. And then the Highliners are a 140.8. That'll be their second best. But now, as I mentioned, those averages, they're now going to probably be up around 139 plus is where they'll be now with their 3 matches, with their 3 meets, which would put them ranked number 3 in the state. So probably after the new year, we'll have those official rankings now that we have our 3 meets in.
Yeah, not a bad place to be sitting right now. Only room for improvement, honestly.
And you feel, I mean, obviously you look at a 9.8 from Karina on the beam and a 9.6 on the bars, but then she left some points out on the floor, didn't she?
Right, yes. So a whole half a point. And we know Karina can get up to, a 9.7, I think is her highest. Those are big scores, and Abby's right behind her with big scores, and Abby even has had some off days, and she can get up to those big scores too.
And that 9.35, again, as I mentioned on the vault, yes, it was topped on the vault, but she left some stuff out there. Probably could have gotten a 9.5 if she did a couple things a little cleaner. Mm-hmm. So as you'll see, points were left out there. Still all around a fun 140. They'll take that 140.8. It's only your 3rd meet of the year.
Right, yeah. And it can really only go up from there as long as they keep working hard, like upgrading over the break and just cleaning up routines. It's going to be a good season.
Well, they are announcing the individuals here, and again, the Highliners in Jamestown and the blue and white meet. We don't know which team won, but I got to figure it's Karina's team possibly won.
I think my money's on Grace and Abby's team there. Because I actually don't think Karina had a full team. I think on beam and bars, I think they only had 3 girls competing. So.
And the same with Jada Nelson's team.
Yep, I think they didn't really have a full team.
So out of 4 teams total, there are probably only 3 that had full.
But it is possible that they'll just drop it down to the top 3.
Top 3.
Whatever, however many they had per event.
But again, folks, as we said, yes, this is a fun meet. They mix match, but these count. These scores will count as far as rankings in the state. And I got to figure, if you look at individual numbers, for Karina now with the 37 in her last 2 meets, she's going to be probably number 2 behind Amy Fridley.
Yeah.
When the rankings come out in the state, Elizabeth Karski is right there to 37.25. But I can see Karina being number 2 and Abby probably being 4th.
Yeah, they're going to be right up there with those Dickinson girls.
Because Abby had a 37.15 here tonight. And taking a look at what she did on her all-around on Friday night, 36.9.
Yeah.
So she is at that 37 mark as well, which would put her
right up
4th, 3rd or 4th. So that is the way things wrap up here tonight. And again, the Highliners will be off for a while. Their next home meet will be coming up here in January. January 28th will be the next home meet for the Highliners. And they're going to be in Jamestown coming up on the 7th, or the Fargo, pardon me. They'll be over at the American Gold in Fargo. That'll be their next meet on the 7th of January. And then back here at home on January 28th for their next home meet for the Highliners. And, of course, we'll be here as well on the Highliner Activity Network. And, again, just a reminder, we have got basketball coming up tomorrow night. That is at 5:30 for the junior varsity, 7:15 varsity, as the Highliner boys will be taking on Fargo South. And that'll be tomorrow night from the Hack. And you can see all the action right here on the Highliner Activity Network. Olivia, well done. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Well, if you're ever back this way I know you're in college now, but, you're always welcome. There's a mic spot for you if you come back.
Sounds good. I'll take you up on that if I'm around.
If we get a Saturday, it's only, a 5-hour drive to Bemidji?
3.5.
Oh, that's nothing.
Nothing.
That's nothing. Come back for a weekend. But thanks very much. Appreciate it. Olivia Olson, of course, Jaden Johnson, again, on camera and technical director tonight. And, again, appreciating Jaden's hard work here after a full day of wrestling on Saturday. Coming back here tonight. Appreciate that from Jaden and our camera work and our technical director. Again, final tonight here, Jamestown at 143.78 and Valley City at 140.80 in the blue and white fun meet here tonight from the Youth Sports Complex. Until next time, happy holidays. We'll be with you tomorrow night for basketball. Until then, Paul McDonald saying thanks for joining us, and so long from the Youth Sports Complex.
In 6th place from Jamestown. In 5th place from Jamestown with a 35.0, Emma Hillerud. In 4th place from Jamestown with a 35.8, Brenna Hatch. In 3rd place from Jamestown with a 37.1, Haley Nelson. In 2nd place from Valley City with a 37.15, Abby Thornton. And your all-around champion from Valley City with a 37.20, Karina Olson. Ladies present. Here's your team scores. In 3rd with a 135.4, Team 4, Alyssa, Karina, Brenna, and Aubrey. In Second, Team 1, Haley, Blair, Zoe, Anna, and McKenna. And your champions today, Team 2, Abby, Maddie, Grace, Jasmine, and Sydney. All right, that's it. Thanks for coming. Drive safe.
Back here at the U Sports Complex, Paul McDonald and Olivia Olson as the blue and white meet wraps up, and Jamestown with a 143.78 and the Valley City 140.8 in the team totals. But joining us now, a couple of the gymnasts. First, our all-around champion, Karina Olson, joining us. Karina, congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll go with, we'll start with the floor. Not as good of routine as you normally have, is there?
No, I actually put in a new pass, so that was just kind of a risky tumbling pass that I wanted to try, and I figured this was a good meet to put it in and test it out, see how it went, and obviously it didn't go very well, but there's next time.
It's not one you will not do again. You'll just work on that?
Yep, I'll just continue working it at practice, and yep.
And then use it as an upgrade as we progress through.
Yes.
And now we'll get to over at the beam. A 9.65. Pardon me? On the bars, 9.65. The look on your face was one of a little surprise.
Yes. I was really surprised because I thought my routine on Friday was a little bit better. So to score that high for that routine, I was surprised, but I mean, I'll take it and run.
From my perspective, the only deduction that you had on bars, though, was your foot tap.
Yes.
So I think that was your only deduction, and so that's why your score was higher.
But still, 9.65, we'll take that. And then the beam, a 9.8
yes.
on the beam. Is that your highest?
Yes, that is probably the highest I've ever scored in my life.
On any event.
On any event. Because,
yes.
I think floor, 9.7 is your best on the floor.
Yeah, something like
in
that.
that area. But did you feel it was a 9.8? Can you tell when you're on doing a routine and you get done, you're like, okay, I can probably figure I'm around this and get an idea?
I mean, you can kind of get a rough estimate on, like, if you're in the 9s or the 8s. I mean, you can't always tell, like, if your leg was bent or if your toe was pointed, and those are the little tiny details that they really look for when you're doing routines. And I mean, I just stayed tight and didn't fall.
Do they have on the sheet? Can you look at the score sheet and see where your deductions came?
Yes, I can. So I'm probably gonna ask Johnny about that next time we have practice. So yeah.
But all around again at 37 plus on the all around second. I think we just got to come to more meets because you win all around when we're here.
Yeah, I guess so.
So we'll just go on the road with you guys. So we'll do that. But Karina, congratulations on tonight, and thanks very much. And you can hand the headset over to Abby.
Thank you so much.
Karina Olson again, the all-around champ here tonight for the Highliners, and now we're joined by Abby Thornton. Don't worry, you can't break it. It's only $1 million equipment, so we're good to go. Abby, technical difficulties. But Abby Thornton now joining us here, taking a second in the all-around, just 1/10, not even 0.05 behind Karina in the all-around. I think the first event I want to talk about is the vault, a 9.35. We kind of thought that might have been a little low.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Well, it's lower than what I got on Friday, but all of them were low. So it's a new judge, so she's a more difficult judge than the other ones. So I wasn't upset with it.
That's what I mentioned on, was that the judge that we had last Friday, they're more of beam and floor judges, whereas this judge has been judging vault for years.
Yeah.
So she's obviously a tougher vault judge.
And going to be looking for a little bit more and being a little bit more critical. Overall, though, do you feel it was a good meet for you tonight?
Yeah, it was better than I expected. My warm-up wasn't going good, but I performed better. So I did better than I did on Friday, I felt.
Just were you more relaxed? Is that why?
Yeah, this meets a lot more easy flowing, and just it's easier to compete. You're with other people. It's fun.
Well, I didn't get a chance to talk to either one of you, but I'll ask you, Abby, this. You look back at Friday, too, where you had the three best teams in the state here with Dickinson, yourselves, and Jamestown. And you came out of there third, but did you feel you guys performed pretty well and got a chance to maybe see what Dickinson has and what you look forward to as the season goes on?
Yeah, I think it's good to get to see every team before you can go to state, but our team, that wasn't our best, but it was good for a second meet. And, everyone's getting sick now, so it's harder. It gets harder on your body, too. So.
And you mentioned the second meet and third meet, so now you guys, are you going to be upgrading and now start ready to throw those upgrades in and really hone your... So where do you have a target meet? Do you say, okay, we've got to have all our upgrades in right here to get ready for the last month of the year?
I would say EDC-ish, and you want it in by state, but I'm just saying EDC, you want to start getting your routines to be ready so you can you don't have to throw in anything new at state. You want it just to be there, just easy for you.
Okay, well, again, ladies, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Congratulations on two pretty good meets here on Friday and tonight, and you got a chance to see some of the younger kids too. Was that kind of fun too, watching some of the younger kids out here?
It was so fun.
Was it Lauren on the beam when you were here that had a pretty good routine?
Yes.
So is that you guys they look up to you, so you got to take that as the big girls now. You're the big sisters in the gym. All right, guys, thanks very much. Congratulations, and we'll talk to you again. That is Abby Thornton and Karina Olson joining us here. Again, our first all-around and second all-around here from the Highliners. Well, there we go. I think they were happy with the meet.
Yeah, solid meet, solid scores. I mean, it's hard to take first and second and just not be like, all right, well, we got first and second.
We're good. Yeah. But they know that there's more to come.
Yep. They know that they still have room for improvement. They've made silly mistakes today that they shouldn't have made. But, yeah, you just have to take the win and run with it.
All right, well, that is going to wrap things up now here tonight. Got a chance to talk to our gymnasts, and again, taking second with a 140.080 and a 143 for Jamestown. And did we hear that it was Abby and Grace's team?
Yep, Abby and Grace's team, one out of the mixed teams.
The mixed teams, and you kind of predicted that.
I did. I've seen this meet a little bit, and I know that they kind of mix and match the girls, so you have some that are higher scores and lower scores, but just looking at it, I kind of thought Abby and Grace had it.
So now they can say we were the champs this year. The team that had Abby Thornton and Grace Undum. Well, that is going to wrap things up here from the Youth Sports Complex. Thanks for joining us again tonight. Until next time, Paul McDonald saying so long from the Youth Sports Complex.